Hello, thank you for joining me on this episode of Edify with Fiki. Today we're going to continue our conversation on clarifying your identity. Before we go on, I want you to click on the subscribe button on your screen, like, share, leave a comment. I love to interact with people who are joining and listening in and interacting with you to learn more about you, see where we can help. Just go ahead and leave a comment. If you like more information about our courses and about what services that we offer, you can get that at www.edifycoaching.org. And for one-on-one consultation, please book a session and I look forward to talking with you. Okay, today we're continuing a conversation on clarifying your identity. We had talked about who we are, about where we came from, about why we're here, and what our abilities are. And when we talk about who we are, we're really focusing on the question of your essence. What is inherent in me that the world needs to see? It's not about your worth. It's not about your bank account or your academics or whatever that is that you think is associated to who you are. Who you are is who you have been programmed to be. What is the design of God for you? What is the design of God concerning your life? What are you here to accomplish? And so the question is, where do I come from? We talk about that, and we were talking about your origin is not really your state of origin. I was born in California. I was born in Nigeria. I was born somewhere in the woods and all of that. Everybody has stories, but that's truly not where we came from. Where we came from, it's the higher being that created us. In Christianity, we know that we come from God. Some people might believe in all other gods, but there is a higher being. There's a higher purpose for why we're here, and the one who brought us here is who we need to find. God, who created us, and that's why we are here. We have to trace where we came from. We might not necessarily be able to fully conceptualize why we're here. We talked deeper into that in our first video about a manufacturer and the intent of the product that was manufactured. Now the question was, why am I here? What is the purpose for me being created? What solutions am I bringing? What are the things that I ought to do on the earth? Why was I created by God on this earth? So those are questions that we need to be able to find answers to. And then the last question that we dealt with was, what is my ability? What can I do? What strength do I have? What is my talent? What are my gifts and resources or the opportunities that I can explore based on the strength that I have? So you can check the other videos for that. Today, we're going to be continuing that conversation. And we want to link this process into 3 parts where we discover our becoming. For us to become, we have to define our identity. We have to be able to discover our identity. And when discover who we are, when discover what our life's all about, our life's journey is about, what our goals are, what our essence is, and the gifts that we need to share with the world, then we begin to do. And the doing part is accomplishing those goals that had been set, that we had just discovered. So becoming is the first step in fulfilling purpose. That cannot happen until we discover our identity. Without clarity of being, actions are reactionary. So without the clarity of knowing who you are, the actions that we take are reactionary. They are more reactive than they are proactive. But the moment that we find out, we discover our identity, we discover who we are, we're then curating our actions with intentionality, because now we know I have become this person, because now I have found out I've been able to correctly answer these 4 questions that I just went through briefly. And now I need to work on the journey of becoming. And that's where the intentionality in step-by-step processes, where it comes from. And once we get to that, we're able to then look at ourselves and what is the process of me becoming? What are the process of me becoming? What steps do I need to take to become? First of all, we have to align our identity with our outward life. The identity that you have just discovered about yourself, does it align with the type of life that you're living? Are you in sync with your inner self and the outward self? Is your inner self in sync with what you project to the world or what the world sees about you? There needs to first be an alignment in that regard. There's the internal transformation that brings about the external transformation. So once we work on our inner self, and once we're going to get into topics about limiting beliefs, and overcoming fear. So when we work on ourselves internally, we build ourselves from the inward outward, then our actions and reactions begins to match who we truly say we are. What is my belief system about money? I might be thinking, I'm going to make a lot of money, I'm going to be rich. Those are just wishes. Are we aligning our actions to match that? Are we educating ourselves in that line to be able to form that ideology that's within us? Your internal self determines what your external presentation should be, what the world sees about you, what you give to the world, the character that we have. All of these things, they are all from the wells of what is stirring up within us. And in this stage, we focus on a few things. We focus on self-awareness, our belief systems, our values, our character, our developmental phase. What are the values that I hold dear? What are the things that I believe to be true about myself, the gifts that I carry, the talents that I have? How then can I reform this into a more exportable trait and gift and resources that the world will be able to consume? The other part is you can draw from your higher power. For me, my higher power is the God of the Bible. God Almighty is my higher power. I believe in Jesus and I believe in His will. So in the book of Romans 12 verse 2, it says that we be transformed through the renewing of our mind. So there needs to be a renewal of mind. For there to be an outward and visible transformation in our lives. And it's an important aspect of who we are, that there will be a transformation through the one who created us. It's like you sending back this computer. Let's continue to use the example of the laptop, and they give you a 2-year warranty on it, or even a 1-year warranty, and you have a 1-year warranty on any malfunctions. You have to go back to the source. You have to go back to the manufacturer to say that this computer now needs to be worked upon because you promised me that for this amount of time it's going to work. In the same vein, for as long as we live on earth, we ought to always remember to go back to our source, be connected to our source for updates, for verification in the true sense of who we are in God. You have to connect to your source to be able to give the world everything that your manufacturer had put inside of you. That's a very important part of our life. It's the root level. In this becoming stage, you're in the rudimental, the foundational phase of purpose fulfillment. So if we don't get this stage right, there could be a lot of things that we're missing. There could be a lot of potentials that we're leaving on the table because we don't even have a true sense of self. We don't even have a true sense of who we are. So until we're able to get that out of the way, to know that, for me to become, I have to get it right. So if the foundation is secure, if the root is growing in deeper, that's all internal, then the tree is going to blossom, and the fruit that comes out of it will be healthy, will be abundant, will be valuable. So all these are what needs to come into play before we begin to say, I'm on the journey of purpose. Purpose defined by who? Purpose through what spectrum are you seeing it? In our workbook, we're going to be, doing some exercises that talks about our purpose. It helps us to, go through the steps of becoming, laying the right foundation for becoming who God says we are, for becoming, everything. The exercise is going to help us to think deeper, help us to ask ourselves some questions that we would need to answer honestly. And I'm looking forward to an exciting time. We're going to continue in the next episode, and we're going to be discussing about the doing phase. Now we're working on the being phase, becoming phase. This is the phase where now that we know who we are and what our identity is, now we're going head on. We're taking bold steps to start taking actions towards that. I'm excited for that next step, and I'm excited for how God is leading us and what is to come in the discovery of our identity. I'll see you next time. God bless.